Hello and welcome into the RoughRiders Clubhouse. We're getting ready for the season and a lot of fun things to be excited about. One of them, a new manager, Chad Comer, who joined us. Chad, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
This is a really exciting season, obviously, with you coming back here as you were a development coach in 2022 with the RoughRiders. Won a championship that year, very high bar to set. What were some of your favorite memories from that season?
Man, I think just getting to see the players celebrate at the end of it, those are always special moments. It's such a tough thing to go out and win a championship, but then too, whenever you get there, you never know when you might be back there or not. It could be the next year, it could be 5-10 years from there, it might not ever be again. So just seeing how special that moment is with that group, and even walking in here, walking down the elevator and like seeing the picture on the wall, it brings back, so many memories.
Jared Gettert was the manager that year, and I know we talked then that you learned so much from him. In your 3 years now, managing at the high A level the last 3 years, what have you pulled from Jared for those years managing?
Yeah, he's always so, I think stoic would be a good word to describe it. And, he tried not to ride the highs too much, not get too low on the lows. And so I'm constantly reminding myself of that, making sure to, take each day as it comes, prepare the way we prepare, and then at the end of the day, go out and play the game the best we can, and just not trying to get too high on the good stuff, not too low on the bad stuff, and just stay even keel because it's tough as it is to play this game. So just trying to be that same guy every day.
Along with the even keeledness, what have you learned, I guess, the last 3 years as a manager?
I think, a lot of it is the constant reminder for not only the staff but myself as well, like to have empathy for the players. Like it's not an easy game to play. Like there's nothing about this that's easy. From in high at one point I think we lost 14 in a row, and then we rattled off like 17 in a row and set like a new record for like wins in a row. So it changes so fast, and to just kind of circling back to like not being too high on the good stuff, not getting too low on the bad stuff, but just, remembering how difficult this game is and just continuing to show up each day and, pour into the players, and not only on the field with them, but like off of it as well. And it's been a fun ride so far.
Now here at the AA level, you're going to see a lot of the same guys that you saw the last few years in high A, but having been at this level before as a development coach and now as a manager, what is the biggest difference for you, do you think, at this level?
I think once you make it to AA, every one of these players out here has the ability to play in the big leagues, or they wouldn't have made it this far. So they've established a daily routine, they've established those things. I think now the biggest thing is like, what's it going to take for each one of these guys to make it to the big leagues and go impact that major league roster? And so the talent is here, like the ability to make it to the big leagues is here, and they've shown that, like getting to this point so far. Now it's like, what are we unlocking to get them to that next level, to make that jump to the big leagues? It was in AA that year, it was my first time to get to see, we promoted Ezekiel Duran like straight to the big league. So it happens, like it's right here, and these guys are sniffing it. So I would say, that's one of the biggest things I see with it.
Now, it's not unfamiliar territory here. You're from this area, went to UTA as well. What does it mean for you to be back here in this area in North Texas?
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited for it. Growing up here, Mansfield, Texas, my whole life, Rangers fan my whole life, and now going into 10th year with the organization, and just getting the opportunity to come here and manage like right where I'm from, I could not be more excited for it. The fans here are always amazing. The atmosphere is always amazing. It's a fun place and a special place to play baseball. I mean, I remember coming out to the stadium when I was in college, and there was the stadium and the IKEA out here, and now you see what it's turned into. It's an amazing place, and it's just a good place to go play baseball at.
Your coaching career is so interesting. When you finished up your playing career, went back to UTA, worked on the grounds crew a little bit, you wanted to just find a way to get back in. Can you talk a little bit about your story and your way here?
Yeah, to start it off right there, I finished playing 2 years with the Braves in the minor leagues, and when I was done, I was like, okay, I think I want to coach. I think it's in me. A lot of people had told me along the way, like, coaching's going to be in your future. Kind of led me to believe too. I'm like, well, I guess big leagues isn't really in the future with it. I'm going to be a better coach. But I went back. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know like how to kind of start about it. So I went back to UTA and talked to Darren Thomas at the time, and was like, how could I start coaching? And he said, we don't have anything open right now, but as soon as something were to come available, like the spot's yours, volunteer, whatever it might be, like it's yours. But right now you could start working on the grounds crew, and then we'll have you out just like at practice, work with the catchers, different things like that, kind of get going with it, because you've got great knowledge, and I think it'd just be a good asset to have around. I said, okay. And so I started working there, and right as the spring was rolling around, the pitching coach came up to me and was like, hey, I know a guy with the Rangers. He actually reached out and was like, hey, do you have anybody that you know with a catching background that's young and is like looking into coaching? He goes, I actually got the guy right here for you if he's interested in it. And he came up to me and I said, yeah, absolutely, I'm in, I'd love it. And so went on an interview, went through that process, and then the next thing you know, they offered me a position, and I went to low A that year, and then from there on, spent 3 years in the Dominican and just continued to go from there.
I always think it's interesting with guys like that who have had to grind like you to get to where you are. How do you feel like that helps you connect with players at this level trying to make that grind and get to the big leagues?
Yeah, I think, for me more than anything, players and staff in general, it's, I've had the opportunity to, as a player, like be a backup, get to start some, like kind of ride that roller coaster of, not sure, you've gone from playing your whole college career and then you get to pro ball and everybody's really good and it's an adjustment phase. And so, having that empathy there, but then also with like the staff going from, I've been a dev coach, I've been a hitting coach, been a bench coach, like had all those opportunities to wear some different hats. And so to that side as well, like knowing what like staff might be experiencing or what they're going through and all those types of things, I think it's helped prepare me for this opportunity. But to that, like I still learn every single day with it. Like there's so many things that I continue to pick up on and learn from players and from staff every single day. So I don't think we're ever done learning in this game. And the more like you continue to stay open to that, I think is huge.
Obviously, it's exciting coming into this year. What are a couple things you want to accomplish this year as a manager for the first time here in AA?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, like us living out our core values every single day, like dominating the fundamentals, competing with passion, and like being a great teammate. Like if we can live those out each and every day and put that type of baseball out on the field, I think it's going to be special. And then also, I think, just the interaction that we have in the community with fans, different things along those lines, like just creating a special place like for baseball to be played. And there's so many kids that come to these games, there's so many families that come out here, just having the opportunity to create like a good atmosphere to come out and not only watch really good baseball but to enjoy a baseball game, I think is something that will be really special. And Frisco has it, you guys have always had it, and just to continue to carry that on, and then ultimately at the end of the day, like go win a championship, can't be mad about that. So
no doubt, absolutely. Opening day is coming up April 7th. Really excited to have Chad at the helm, and we can't wait to have you out here at the ballpark. Chad, thanks so much for joining us, and excited for the year.
Yeah, thanks for having me.